In about 20 seconds, I'm going to show you a painting. Before you read a single word, before you know the artist, the year, the story, your brain is going to know immediately that something is wrong. Not sad, not uncomfortable, wrong. I want you to notice the exact moment that happens. Because that moment is the entire point. Welcome. Imperial Russia, 1862. A world where a man's wealth could purchase almost anything he desired, including a future that didn't belong to him. Vasily Pukirev was 28 years old when he began this painting. A young art student from a peasant family. No money, no title, no power over anything. In a city built entirely on status, he had none of the things that mattered. What he had was a reason. Before I show you the detail that most people miss entirely, I need to tell you something about Pukirev. Because this painting isn't art history, it's a confession. Look at the crowd behind the bride. Scan the faces. Most of them are looking away. But one figure, arms crossed, jaw set, is staring directly at the groom. Not with curiosity, with something that has no polite name. That is Vasily Pukirev. He painted himself into the room, not as a hero, not as a rescuer, as a man who is watching something happen and cannot stop it. Art historians believe the bride in this painting was based on a real woman, a woman Pukirev loved, who was given to a wealthy man 3 times her age, without being asked. So this wasn't a painting about a stranger's tragedy. This was Pukirev sending into the world the thing he could not say in any room that mattered, and Russia was not ready for it. Let's go through this painting the way Pukirev built it, one figure at a time. Because there is not a single accident in this canvas. The bride wears white. White, the color of purity, of innocence, of everything. This moment is designed to look like, and nothing that it is. Her head is bowed. Her eyes are down. She is not praying. She is not at peace. She is using every muscle in her body to not break in front of an audience that would not forgive her for it. Her hand reaches toward the priest like a reflex, a rehearsed gesture, something she was told to do and did because there was no other option on the list. Now, forget everything I just said. Because what I'm about to show you is not the tragedy. The tragedy is wearing a suit. Now look at him. He is not nervous. He is not tender. He does not appear to notice that the woman beside him is holding herself together with silence. Pukirev didn't paint him as a monster. That would have been too easy, too dismissible. He painted him as something far more dangerous, a man who believes he has done nothing wrong, who has never been told otherwise. Then the priest. He performs the ceremony with the detachment of a man processing paperwork. His eyes do not find her face, not once, and the guests stand in the background like furniture. One woman won't meet her eyes. A man stares at the floor. Someone adjusts their cuff, and Pukirev, the only person painting was ever going to let speak, stands with his arms crossed and says nothing, because he could say nothing, but he could paint everything. I want to step out of 1862 for a moment, because this painting is not about Russia. It is not about arranged marriages. It is about something older than both of those things and harder to name. I want you to think about a room you have been in where something was wrong, where everyone felt it, where nobody moved. I want you to think about what you did. Every society in every century has done the same thing. Made power look like tradition. Made control look like ceremony. Made the wrong thing look so normal that questioning it feels like the disruption. The candles make it sacred. The white dress makes it romantic. The vows make it eternal. And all of it, every thread of it, is theater. Designed so that what is actually happening at the center becomes invisible. But Pukirev refused to make it invisible. He painted her face with enough precision that you cannot look at it and not know. That is grief that has been denied permission to exist. That is someone performing composure while everything inside them is already gone. You have felt that. Maybe not here, maybe not in a church, but you know that exact face from the inside. And that is why this painting has survived 160 years. Not because it is technically impressive, because it is emotionally exact. Pukirev found the specific texture of a specific kind of suffering and made it impossible to unsee. When this was exhibited, it became one of the most reproduced prints in Russia. People bought it and hung it in their homes. The same homes where they arranged exactly these marriages. They looked at this painting and felt sad for the girl. Then they went back to their lives. And I think Pukirev knew that would happen, and I think it is the reason his self-portrait looks the way it does. Because feeling sad about something and feeling responsible for it are not the same thing. And most of us spend our whole lives choosing the first one. It is more comfortable. It asks nothing of us. I keep coming back to Pukirev in the corner. He wasn't the subject of this painting. It wasn't his wedding. He could have stood outside the frame, safe and neutral and professional. But he put himself inside the room, visible, named, accountable. I think he did that because he understood something about witnessing that we are still figuring out. Seeing something clearly, truly seeing it, and still being unable to change it, is its own kind of suffering. Pukirev wasn't a hero in this painting. He was just honest about being powerless. And I think that honesty in a room full of people pretending not to see is the rarest thing in the painting. He painted his own failure into a masterpiece, his own helplessness into something that outlasted every powerful man in that room. The unequal marriage has hung in the Tredakov Gallery in Moscow since 1863. It has survived revolutions, empires, wars, a century and a half of the world being redesigned around it. And every person who has ever stood in front of it has known immediately, instinctively, without reading a single label, that something in it is wrong. That feeling you had 20 seconds into this video before I said a single word. That was you. That was 50,000 years of human beings recognizing when someone needs help. Firing right now. For a girl who has been dead for 150 years, that is the painting working. That is Pukirev still in the room, still watching. Art doesn't change the past, but sometimes, when it's honest enough, it changes who's watching. He couldn't stop the wedding, but he made sure that 160 years later, you would know her face. I'll see you in the next one.